It started with the sound every homeowner dreads, with splintering and a deadbolt snapping like a bone. Then 3 guys in HOA windbreakers barged in yelling, "You're in violation." My daughter froze mid-bite of cereal, my wife's thumb hovered over 911, and all I thought while the porch lights flickered innocently was, "Wrong house, fellas." If you've ever had a run-in with an HOA, you're going to want to hear this. And if you've never dealt with one, this story might just make you grateful. Stick around, because what starts as a nightmare raid ends in one of the most satisfying reversals you've ever heard. The calm before the storm. Most mornings on our cul-de-sac, our coffee on the porch quiet. I'd spent 2 decades as a Navy SEAL and figured I'd earned the right to watch birds instead of bad guys. Kids on the block call me Coach T. My wife, Lisa, and I put up those little solar path lights just so our daughter, Emma, wouldn't trip coming home from dance. Then came the letters, pink paper, red ink, all caps screaming about non-approved lighting. I swapped bulbs, moved the stakes, even dug up the whole path and replanted it on a Saturday. Still the fines rolled in. $50, $100, $500. The HOA president, Randall Pierce, met me at the mailbox with a clipboard and a smirk. I told him I'd do whatever it took to keep my family safe. He laughed. "Safety's not my department, sailor. Curb appeal is." The knock that wasn't a knock. Lisa had just left for groceries. Emma and I were arguing Pop-Tarts versus real breakfast when the frame cracked. 3 guys, same windbreakers. HOA security in yellow, stormed like I was back in Mosul. One, built like a vending machine, jabbed a finger the size of a kielbasa at me. You ignored final notice. Another snapped photos of my living room like it was a crime scene. The third yanked TV cord and barked, Section 14B, unapproved outdoor illumination. I stepped between them and Emma, muscle memory from 100 raids. Palms up. "Fellas, I've got a kid here. Talk to me like humans." Goatee grinned. "We just did." Then he stomped outside, booted the garden lights into the flower bed, and peeled off in a dingy HOA van. My front door hung off a single hinge, daylight pouring through like it was wounded. The phone call. Lisa pulled in as they left. She took one look at the splintered frame and dropped her groceries on the driveway. Neighbors drifted over. Mrs. Alvarez across the street, the Peterson clan with their toddler waving. Phones came out. Someone said they'd already called the cops. I took Emma inside, sat her on the couch, promised everything was okay even though my voice shook. Then I walked to the junk drawer and dug out an ancient black flip phone I hadn't used since Kandahar. "One number, Jake." "T-Mac." The voice was tinny but sharp. "Need the band back together. One afternoon. 0 violence. All optics." He chuckled. "Already in khakis, bro." The team assembles. By 2 o'clock an unmarked Tahoe rolled up. Out stepped Jake, Mike, and Sam. 3 guys I trusted with my life in places the map calls blank. Polos, Oakleys, hair still high and tight. No rifles, no camo. Just good posture and the kind of calm that makes people move aside. Jake carried a leather folio. Mike had a GoPro clipped to his chest. Sam brought iced coffee. One-arm hugs in the driveway. Jake eyeballed the door. Subtle. I half shrugged. HOA interior design. The walk to HQ. The HOA headquarters sat 2 blocks over. A beige ranch house with a flagpole that never stood straight. We strolled the sidewalk like a patrol, past hedges trimmed to geometric gilt and sprinklers ticking in the heat. Neighbors watched from windows, then porches, then fell in behind us. By the time we hit the cul-de-sac, 30 people trailed. Phones up. Kids on bikes. Someone went live. Inside the lion's den. Conference room smelled like burnt coffee and copy toner. Randall Pierce stood at the head of a folding table, flanked by the same 3 goons who'd busted my door. PowerPoint slide read, "Emergency enforcement session, case 14B." They looked up, mouths open. I stepped forward. "Afternoon, fellas. Let's talk section 14B. Tone I used on village elders, respectful, but non-negotiable. Jake opened the folio, slid glossies across the table. My busted frame, Emma's Pop-Tart on the tile, The garden lights stomped into the mulch. Sam pressed play on a Bluetooth speaker. Smart doorbell audio of the break-in. Mike's GoPro blinked red. Randall's face blotched. "This is private property. You're trespassing." Sam smiled easy. "Funny, so was my buddy's living room this morning." The turning point. Jake clicked a pen, started citing statutes. Unlawful entry, property damage, intimidation of a minor. Never raised his voice, just facts, like a briefing. Neighbors packed the doorway, phones recording. Mrs. Alvarez hollered, "We saw you on Ring." The Peterson toddler waved a cookie. Randall stammered. Goatee reached for his belt, paused when Mike tilted his head, calm as a sniper. Room went quiet except for the buzz of cheap fluorescent tubes. I stepped closer. "You wanted curb appeal, Randy. Well, here's your audience." The public reckoning. Somebody had already posted the live stream to the neighborhood Facebook page. Comments detonated. Angry face emojis. One guy asked if the HOA also planned to kick in his door for mismatched shutters. Another offered free legal advice. A local news van rolled up. A reporter with perfect hair and a smartphone mic combo asked Randall for comment. He bolted for the back exit. Found Sam leaning against the doorframe, sipping iced coffee. "We're done here," I said. "You'll replace my door, cut me a check for the fines, and resign. Or the next meeting won't be this polite." Randall swallowed hard. The goons slunk behind him like scolded dogs. The aftermath. By sunset, the HOA website crashed under the traffic. The board issued a groveling apology. Contractors showed up Monday with a new oak door, 3 coats of stain, reinforced frame, and a little brass plate that reads, "Protected by Second Amendment landscaping." The fines were refunded via PayPal. Randall resigned 2 days later, citing personal reasons. Rumor, as he moved to a condo where the only rule is no Christmas lights before Thanksgiving. The 3 enforcers? Turns out they weren't even employees, just wannabe security guards Randall paid cash. They're facing charges. Emma now races her bike up the path under those same solar lights. The replacements are twice as bright, just because. The morning after, next HOA meeting, the boardroom was standing room only. New elections, new rules, and a new sign. Garden lights welcome. Lisa brought cookies shaped like tiny lanterns. I wore flip-flops. Jake, Mike, and Sam sat in the back row, clapping politely when the new president, retired kindergarten teacher named Mrs. Chun, promised transparency and civility. Sometimes standing up isn't about fists. It's about showing bullies that the people they pushed around have numbers, neighbors, and sometimes an old seal who still remembers how to clear a room. So plant your lights, fly your flags, and if 3 guys in matching windbreakers ever kick in your door, maybe call your buddies. You never know who's still got your 6. If you've ever dealt with an HOA power trip, share your story below. I read everyone. And don't forget to hit subscribe, because next week we're exposing the HOA that tried to ban American flags from porches. You won't want to miss how that ended.